Hello everyone, this is Speak Entertainment and we are back again. We're now going to talk about Superman and Lois, the upcoming CW superhero series, which is due to air on February the 23rd on the CW network. It will be a 90-minute episode, very feature length, and it will continue the Tyler Hoechlin interpretation of the character, who has been a prominent part of the CW verse, alongside the Lois Lane version played by Bitsy Tuluch as well. And I've always liked the Tyler Hoechlin interpretation. It's very different from the Christopher Reeve. I was very glad that they didn't try and replicate that version of the character, which for me is still the benchmark and the most iconic and most appropriate fit of the character. But I feel the Tyler Hoechlin Superman was much more of a hopeful, much more of a rootable and appealing version than what the DCEU version was. So it makes sense that they keep him with version, and I think he had a good chemistry with Bitsy Tuluch, who played Lois Lane as well. We saw that various appearances throughout the Supergirl show and also the various crossover events within the CW show. So very pleased to see Tyler get his own show. Now, the synopsis of this is that it will follow the Superman and Lois Lane characters living married life along with two sons as they struggle to balance their family life along with Superman's existence as a superhero saving the world. Now, initially when I first heard the synopsis of the show, I wasn't as enthusiastic about it, because I'm somebody who I want to see Superman as a character influencing the world in a much more of a positive light, saving the world, taking on the various supervillains, you know, his most iconic rogue villains, whether it be Darkseid, Bizarro, Metallo, Doomsday, etc. And I always think that Superman should always be on that cinematic level. And I've bemoaned multiple times the fact that Warner Brothers treats Batman that way, but they don't see Superman as the same priority. You know, it's completely impossible that Batman could go on the television because he's only deemed worthy enough on a cinematic level, but they don't have the same love and attention for Superman. So that's something that's really irritated me over the last couple of years. But Superman balanced together a family life hasn't really excited me the most, but they're going ahead of it. It will be a different type of story. We haven't seen this type of story with the character being told before, so we'll be interesting to see how they take this direction. So we recently had the first trailer for the show. There was one, I think it came out a couple of weeks ago, but it was really more of a montage. There was lots of animated moving images, but it wasn't really an actual trailer of the show. So this is our first look at the show coming forward, and I have to say I was very impressed. It has that bigger budget, that cinematic feel that I think is most appropriate with Superman, and I think it will surprise a lot of people. It looks very distinctive and different from the general CW shows, which look good for the TV budget that they have, but they don't have that cinematic feel, certainly presented within this trailer. You can very much tell from the cameras and the filters and just the shots that they were shown on here, it just very much had that much more of a bigger event feel, and I think that's most appropriate for Superman. You know, a Superman interpretation, whether it's animation, cinematic or television, should always be a big event, and it should feel like a big event. So I've got no problems with the fact that maybe they've inputted more budget and production into this than maybe what people will feel with some of the other CW shows. So I didn't have any issues with that. But the trailer itself I thought was great. I loved all the musical tones. It certainly gave a feeling of more heart and depth and warmth, which is what a Superman story should always have. This is another issue that I've taken with the DCEU version, but there was a lot more soul within this trailer, and I think that's something you could label at all of the CW shows. You know, there's very much a heart and a chemistry with all the characters involved, and that's what this trailer have. If we look at some of the shots on here, we see the shots of the wedding between Clark and Lois, and then we see more shots of the Kent farm. Looks very nice on there, again giving that Smallville vibe, I would say, which is, again, is a plus point. We see Clark and Lois walking together at the Daily Planet. We get shots of their two sons together, and there's an early indication here that Clark has been keeping his identity from them, and then they eventually discover it and confront him about it. So I don't feel we'll get that in the first two episodes. That may happen in maybe the fourth or fifth episode, because I think they'll probably establish the Superman and Lois characters first and their sons living their normal life, and then over the course of the story the sons will start to pick up on certain things. Maybe Clark is disappearing the same time as Superman is appearing, and they'll follow on that trail and then make that discovery for themselves. And I think we get another quick indication that Clark will eventually tell them who he is. So again, that's another interesting dynamic, that Superman has children, teenagers who know his identity, and so over the course of the series we'll see them struggle with living their own teenage lives and also knowing that their dad is the greatest superhero of the world. So that is a different take and a potentially very interesting dynamic that we could see throughout the show. One thing I would also query is that will we see the teenage sons develop their own superpowers? Because logically, of course, as sons of Superman, we would expect them at some point to have some sort of Kryptonian ability. So how quickly will they press that button if they decide to do it? Will they have it very early on, or will they save that development maybe for season 2 or season 3 if the show goes that fast? That'll be very interesting to see as well. We also see Lois's father, Samuel Lane, who is an army general, so we'll be interested to see how prominent a role he plays on there. We see a shot of Kryptonite as well, which is to be expected in any Superman story. You're going to get Kryptonite emerging at some point, so that's to be expected. And we also see great shots of the much improved Superman costume. You know, when Tyler made his first appearance on the Supergirl, you know, people criticised the fact that he looked a bit too slender, a bit too thin. Maybe that was a deliberate manoeuvre to not have him overshadow Supergirl as such. But they've clearly realised now that yes, Superman in his own show has to be much more of an impressive and imposing figure physically, and they've really bulked up the suit. It just looks far more impressive, far more stronger. We get that great shot when Superman is hovering around in space and he turns around. I think he's taken on a robot or cyborg like character. We see this character again in the farm earlier on, so that's great to see. But Tyler looks very impressive in the costume as well, and that's great. The suit just has more texture, more colour, more structure about it, and it just looks better. It looks stronger as a version of Superman. So overall, I think this trailer looks pretty much fantastic, and I'm more enthusiastic now about the show. You know, I'm not saying it's going to be an absolute home run, but I'm just more interested now that I've seen actual footage of it as to previously when I first heard that they were creating it. So overall, very good feelings and positive vibes about Superman and Lois so far. Will be interesting if the show is a big hit. Will they eventually do a crossover with The Flash? We all know that the recent Arrowverse crossover between Batwoman and Superman has been cancelled and put off. I think that was understandable given the recent changes within Batwoman, so that made sense as well. So how far will they integrate Superman and Lois into the CW verse? Will they make Superman the big heart and soul of the character? Because if we look at the CW verse now, you know, Supergirl was on its last season, Black Lightning is on its last season, Arrow is already finished. We never got the Green Arrow and Canary show. I don't think anybody wanted that to begin with. Okay, yes, Stargirl will be migrating over as well, but as an interconnected universe, it's kind of running a bit light. We've kind of really got the Flash and Legends of Tomorrow. So it would be understandable that they're making a big push for Superman and Lois and trying to make it the front runner and the figurehead of the CW verse going forward. So I think that's an appropriate fit. Superman should always be the heart of the DC cinematic universe or any universe that you're trying to create. So that's great to see. So overall, very positive feelings, great trailer, very cinematic. Lots of heart and depth and warmth what you would associate in Superman. So I'm very much looking forward to the show when it arrives in February. So those are my thoughts and feelings on the Superman and Lois trailer. Let me know what you think in the comments below. How do you think it compares in terms of the look and the production and the visuals compared to the other CW shows? Do you think this will be a big hit? How do you think it compares to the DCEU version? Do you think this is a much more of a brighter, hopeful, inspirational Superman, which is a far more appropriate fit? Or are you still preferring the Snyder version and you're looking more forward to the Snyder cut than what you are to this show as well? So those are my thoughts on Superman and Lois. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please hit those like and subscribe buttons and help me grow this channel and provide more great content for you in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, stay at safe distances, and I will see you very, very soon.